Jiang Fengmian handed the rabbit to Wenjin's arms. Wenjin, while teasing it, walked toward the snow-white rabbit. Her gaze flitted back and forth between the two rabbits. The more she tried to play with the gray rabbit, the snow-white one on the couch seemed increasingly displeased, clearly turning its head away, not wanting to look, while its light pink eyes glanced sideways faintly, watching every movement on this side. Wenjin let out a laugh, seemingly very amused, her eyebrows raised in an arc, saying lightly, "Sector Master Jiang, don't you think these two rabbits resemble two people very much?" Jiang Fengmian frowned slightly, watching the gray rabbit flail about restlessly in Wenjin's embrace. On the other side, the snow-white rabbit stayed serene, like a composed maiden, like a finely carved jade statue standing motionless. The contrast of movement and stillness was striking. Jiang Fengmian was momentarily at a loss. Wenjin caught the gray rabbit firmly and asked bluntly, "Are you Wei Wuxian?" Gray rabbit nodded hurriedly and sighed deeply, as if it had been trying all along to attract attention and was finally recognized. Seeing this, Jiang Fengmian exclaimed in surprise. Wenjin then raised her chin toward the snow-white rabbit. "Are you Lan Wangji?" The snow-white rabbit looked at her leisurely and nodded with composed bearing. Jiang Fengmian quickly stepped to the couch, disbelief written all over him. "They are rabbits. Are they trapped?" He glanced at the messy scene on the couch. Now it made sense. It seemed that Wei Wuxian had played too recklessly, losing control of the magic and was trapped in rabbit body. He was trying various ways to restore. He let out a relaxed breath, relieved, then gently tapped the gray rabbit's head, scolding softly, "Ah, Ying, you're naughty." The gray rabbit's ears drooped in humbled guilt. Wenjin spread a talisman paper on the desk, drawing a complex rune circle in cinnabar, placing the two rabbits inside the ring, and began casting the spell with hand signs. After a moment, Wei Wuxian slowly woke up on the couch. Upon waking, he tried to get out of bed, but just after lifting half his body, he felt dizzy. Paper scraps floated down like snowflakes to the floor. His loosely worn clothes hung open at the collar, revealing a small patch of wheat-colored chest. Jiang Fengmian pressed him down. "You just recovered. Don't move yet. Put your clothes on first." Wei Wuxian sat back, rolling up the clothes that had slipped to his elbow, and said, "I wonder if Lan Zhan is all right. I want to go see him." "Don't move, I'll go." Jiang Fengmian stepped out immediately. Wenjin crossed her arms and watched him, showing no intention to avoid impropriety, sitting straight on the couch. Wei Wuxian's heart skipped a beat. Nervously, he pulled the blanket up to cover himself, afraid her gaze might be too teasing. After some hesitation, he suppressed his warning tone, pressed his lips, and somewhat reluctantly said, "Miss Wen, thank you for lifting the curse." "You're welcome." Wenjin watched him with great interest, a light smile at the corner of her mouth. Wei Wuxian frowned, shivering and shrinking under the blanket as he put on his clothes. It wasn't that he didn't like being teased by a beauty, but this one was a bit too fierce for his taste. His delicate heart was a little overwhelmed. After dressing, Wei Wuxian could finally stand confidently and got off the bed. His gaze fell on the cinnabar ring talisman on the floor, the very formation that had freed him. He stepped over lightly, studying it carefully. "This is a soul separation formation?" Wei Wuxian asked in surprise. Wenjin walked over to him and said, "Correct. It's not a soul return formation. It's a simple soul separation formation that forces the souls of both of you out of the rabbit bodies. The separated souls will naturally seek out their own bodies, thus achieving the effect of soul return." She spoke lightly, but Wei Wuxian was amazed and serious inside. Simple soul separation? There's nothing simple about this. This formation shares the same origin as my paper-cut incarnation technique, and is a type of soul separation spell. But its forced soul separation is much stronger than my own technique. My magic soul separation is at least voluntary, but this formation forcibly drives the spirit out of the body. For a short time, it even repels the soul, preventing return. "Miss Wen is so skilled with this spell. Have you tested it on living people before?" His gaze under lowered eyelids became sharp and piercing, yet Wenjin's smile never faded, calm and serene. Wei Wuxian involuntarily took a step closer, looking down on her, and said, "The Xia family head if he was forced out of his soul by such a formation, with a body losing control and burning in a great fire, and the soul helplessly watching without rescue. When the soul returns, it wouldn't only endure immense pain, but the burned body would be beyond saving, forever trapped in the fire. This death is truly clever. If it is midnight, taking advantage of the other person being in a deep sleep to implant a talisman on his body, then setting a big fire, after death it would be judged as having failed to detect the fire in time and burned to death. The talisman paper would be destroyed in the fire. So, even inspecting the body would find no evidence. It could be said there is no proof to investigate. Wenjin's smile seemed to deepen several degrees. Indeed clever. Wei Wuxian said, "Miss Wen, you hide your skills well." Wenjin showed an innocent expression, as if she didn't understand his words. Young Master's paper-cut incarnation and my soul detachment technique probably share the same origin and lineage, but I wonder where you got your inspiration from. Wei Wuxian was slightly taken aback. This little technique of his, indeed, came from some sinister spell manuscripts. The manuscripts recorded soul detachment and possession spells targeting a person's living soul. He slightly modified and combined the two, making the soul leave the body and attach to a small piece of paper. This little technique was harmless, even childish playfulness, innocent and pure. But the other techniques in that manuscript were not so innocent. Thinking of those simple stick figures drawn on the manuscript as illustrations, whether behind them hid living people used for practicing the spells, Wei Wuxian felt a bit scared then too. He thought seriously and recalled his considerations at that time, rubbing the small paper talisman left by Zhang Fengmian between his fingers and said, "If someone forcibly extracts the living soul of another to satisfy secret selfish aims, naturally it is a forbidden art. But my spell only references talismans where the soul leaves voluntarily. The spell clearly states the soul willingly leaves the body, causing no harm to others. Although related in origin to Miss Wen's soul detachment technique, where the soul is forcibly driven out, there is an obvious difference and a vastly different intent." Wenjin raised a brow. "Oh? In that case, why did Lan Wangji fall under your spell? Did he also voluntarily detach his soul?" Wei Wuxian was stunned. A chill ran down his spine. Yes. Why did Lan Zhan fall under his spell, when clearly the incantation had no part forcing others? He squinted an eye and weakly said, "Lan Zhan, I was drunk. Maybe the spell went out of control." Even he didn't believe that excuse and shook his head, dismissing it. Wenjin saw him clutching the paper doll, frowned in deep thought, and quietly said, "Since they share origin, their bloodline ties and fate are intertwined. Have you thought that voluntary and forced spells may have overlaps? There is no clear boundary, and it is possible that voluntary soul detachment spells evolved from forced expulsion spells, but such matters need not be troubled over. The path of evil and the path of righteousness are often separated by only a line. Why trouble yourself with distinctions? Must there be division?" "Exactly," Wei Wuxian smiled wryly. "Good and evil aren't about the spell's origins, but the hearts of their users. If used to do harm, it is evil. Even the most righteous technique, if misused, becomes evil. Conversely, if used for good, like Miss Wen using the soul detachment spell to save Lan Zhan and me just now, who wouldn't say it's good?" Wenjin said, "I fear those who claim to be righteous don't see it that way." Wei Wuxian pursed his lips, thoughtful. Just then, a man in white pushed open the door. Evil skills damage body and mind more. How can they be equated with proper cultivation? Such perversity only leads to self-destruction. Wei Ying, soul detachment harms true essence and should not be played with. Do not use it again. His tone was stern and cold. After speaking, he paused at the door as if hesitating briefly. But his gaze swept over Wei Wuxian and involuntarily softened. He then stepped slowly forward. Wei Wuxian smiled as he saw him approach. "Lan Zhan, you're all right. Where is Uncle Zhang?" Lan Wangji said politely. "Sector Master Zhang is talking with Uncle." He turned to Wenjin, nodded slightly. "Miss Wen, thank you very much for your assistance just now. My uncle wishes to speak with you briefly. Please follow me to the small courtyard." Wenjin glanced at him. No rush, second young Master Lan. Earlier what you said. She turned her gaze to Wei Wuxian and stared. Young Master Wei, do you agree? Wei Wuxian couldn't help looking at Lan Wangji, his expression troubled.